You're listening to The Startup with Monique LeRae, only on LA Talk Radio.
This is The Startup with Monique LeRae, and I happen to be Monique LeRae. Welcome to my special Easter edition. I wanted to poke my head out and say Happy Easter, Happy Passover, Happy spending time with people who are important to you day, whatever that it means to you. I'm coming to you live from St. Petersburg, Florida. I'm down in the Panhandle, guys. I'm down here. I'm out here. So LA Talk Radio goes worldwide, right? So as a lot of you know, I am working on 2 documentaries on the pandemic right now, featuring a lot of amazing essential workers, everyday people, and we're just interviewing people to see how they're navigating this thing. So we are taking it worldwide now. So Florida's a stop for me once we go to other countries. So I'm jumping over to some countries in the Caribbean early this next week. And so Miami and Tampa and St. Petersburg are a couple stops for business and also half a day of pleasure. So we're killing a lot of birds with one stone. But hey guys, I got the startup's got a QR code. Check us out on Instagram, LA Talk Radio, The Startup with Monique LeRae. There's a lot of great talent on this channel, you guys. What I love about this channel is it's unfiltered. You've got everything from doctors to artists to fairy gypsies and a lot of cool people on this channel. And shout out to Sam and his team. Shout out to Ronan. Thanks for holding us down. I really just love the team here. Even though we're not in the studios and we're all over the place, they keep us together with beautiful graphics and amazing support. So thank you to everyone who's supported the channel. And so I have a guest. She's working on getting in the studio. A lot of times there's connection issues, so I might have to hold this thing down, which we're happy to, but hopefully my guest can get through.
I'm here.
Oh, here she is, Dr. Dina Brown. How are you, lovely? Happy Easter.
Amazing. I am so amazing. I'm so excited to be here on the show.
Woo-hoo. We're happy to have you, love. You look very beautiful. You look springed out.
I had to do it.
Today?
Oh my gosh. I'm wearing my Guess faux leather pink jacket, and because I wanted to wear the hat. It was really about the hat today, and so I had to pull it together. And then butterflies are my thing, and so I had to pull it all on stop. So definitely
You're
out
very
here.
good with detail, because anyone that knows my show knows I love a good trucker hat, and so for you to wear a hat. Thank you. Usually I'm wearing sunglasses, but I'm endorsing it. Well, I'm endorsing. But shout out to you. Mm-hmm. And why don't we tell everyone who's not familiar with the LA area and worldwide, introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are.
Hello. I am Dr. Dina Brown, and what I actually do is I help women leaders overcome imposter syndrome and make that shift past self-doubt and improve their confidence and their self-esteem so they can truly lead as their authentic self. I am the founder of the Lead Her Shift movement, where it's all about shifting the way you think to elevate the way that you lead. But my most important job of everything is being Xavier's mom. And so that's like the title that I wear most proudly, is being Xavier's mom.
Oh, everything, all roads lead back to fabulous Xavier.
Absolutely.
So, you've got a really unique brand. In the sense of, when we first ran into each other, I really loved your overall aesthetic, but now that I'm getting to know you better, there's more and more layers to this onion. Can you walk us through the layers of this brand and your empire here, and how can people approach it?
Absolutely. Well, in 2017, after truly coming through one of the darkest seasons of my whole entire adulthood at that time, I realized that in order to truly be who I needed to be, I had to get clear about my I am. Who am I today, right now in this season? And so, losing my job, shifting, I mean, literally going through a whole entire transformation where I was dealing with a lot of the things in my headspace. And so one day I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I was having a conversation with my now ex-husband. And I sat at the table as we were making a decision about what was going next. And I said, God, if this is over, let me know. And literally, he sat at that table and he went in a trance, and he probably called me everything but a child of God. And as he was talking and narrating all these things that was, that who he thought I was and who he saw me to be, I was leaning into it and sinking into it. Why? Because those are the things I had been saying to myself. And so what happens with us psychologically is that things resonate when we hear what we've been saying to ourselves. But then he said one thing. So this was like the best day ever, right? Now I can say that. As he was talking to me, he then said, and you know what? You're the dumbest woman I've ever met. And when he said that, I literally just kind of came out of that trance, because that didn't resonate with me, because I always knew since I was a little child that I was smart as shit. Okay. And so it was at that moment that I realized that if that was a lie, what else are the lies? And so I began, and I made a conscious decision on that day to really begin to shift the way that I thought and get very clear about my I am and do the inner work. And that's how the Lead Her Shift movement was born. And so my life as an educator, my life as a leader, my life as a speaker and an author, all that is wrapped around my whole entire brand is truly about getting to the core of your I am story, how you tell it, how you live it, how you lead it. And so you'll see that with, of course, I told you about the League of Extraordinary Women, um, which are these amazing avatars that represent the brand. And so as I've just been unpacking it and saying it's levels to this. It's levels to this. How do we start? Where do we begin to really get into that deep personal growth and elevation journey? And so that's the work that I do. That's the work that I speak on. That's what I write about. And that's what I share, because I believe when we truly know who we are, we truly, honestly don't have to aspire to be. We will be everything that we've been called to be.
That's very vulnerable and transparent, but I think that right into tons of your title of your brand, like the movement and the her in the word, and you kind of back to layers. I wonder how honest people. You're starting a brand, you're reflecting what you are in the brand. So if you've got pain and suffering from anything, it comes out in your brand. You've got money issues, it just does. As much as you don't want it to, it just does. You are bringing it into your brand. I was having this conversation with myself the other day, and I'm like, okay, here's some cool things that you can clean up, because you're always, you're still cleaning house. You're never ever made it, still doing it, and it's called a startup, right? It's called the finish line. So you're always kind of cleaning out those cobwebs. But how often would you say startup entrepreneurs are honest with themselves about who they are, where they come from, and what it is? Gotta be honest.
I would say that there is 30% of the time they're probably there. Why? Is because often we're looking outside of ourselves to define who we are. And that's part of the tape. That's part of the programming. And so until you become very conscious and make a shift to really see that, and usually, and I operate from a space of a wounded healer. I've been there. I've been through some shit. I tell people that's how I can talk about this stuff. And so I find that many entrepreneurs are looking at what others do, their success journey, without even understanding the core of their journey, period. And so what begins to happen is that they emulate others because they don't know who they are. And they wonder, why isn't it successful? Why is it not working for me? Because you're only showing up as a bastardized version of yourself. And so until you begin to really understand who you are, what you sell, what you share, how your brand evolves, will never truly be optimized. And so doing that work can be painful. It's very difficult, but it's not so much about other people. It's what you end up finding out about yourself. And that's the hard part. When you realize that, oh, I am a little bit shady. Ooh, I do tend to get a little bit petty and jealous. And so we always try to put that on other people. But until we own the truth of us, the good, the bad, the neutral, then we don't show up. And I think that entrepreneurs, particularly when they're thinking of how am I going to get my brand, they go look and see what's popular. Let me go check out the influencers. Let me see what they're doing. Let me get my business in a box. And then let me try to roll out this business in a box. And I'm not saying that that doesn't work, but it might not work for you unless you put your own spin on it and you put your own truth in it.
Right. You're moving right on time. I mean, if the thing that we learned in the pandemic is, oh wow, we have to sit with ourselves and in a moment have to shut it down and look at what it is and what we are. You and I talked offline to bring that up, but what I will say, the pandemic has helped people start businesses, also launch businesses, and those pandemic talks in the dark, in the silence, when you wake up.
Uh-oh, I didn't hear the last part. Like you popped out.
Oh, hey, girl.
Oh,
I was
now I hear
saying,
you.
what have you seen and heard? Okay. What have you seen and heard when people are laying down at night during have like quiet day?
Again, I got what have you heard, and so I'm kind of go with what have I heard from
Oh yeah,
entrepreneurs. I'm gonna start working with the question and pulling in
yeah,
my own
no,
piece of
and
the question.
sorry for that. Shout out to Dr. Dina, your brand and dealing with during the pandemic and what it heard people and
Yeah,
best.
I always catch the beginning. So you're saying something really juicy because I catch the beginning and then like you like fade out and I'm like, okay, what did I heard? But what I will speak and I'm going, okay, it must be meaning what I can speak to in regards to even evolving and developing, my brand. And here's the thing, even for entrepreneurs and those in the startup space, is that when I was getting to the core of really being able to showcase and share the essence of what my brand is, I actually had to go back and pull back. And I went through old like journals and I was going through old writings. And here's the interesting part. 10 years ago, I was writing about I am. 20 years ago, I was writing about I am. 30 years ago, but y'all, I'm 29 plus tax and gratuity. But 30 years ago, I was writing about getting to that I am. And so when I see entrepreneurs who are out there, and with the whole show concept of the startup and getting started, is that sometimes they're afraid of what may come out, and so they do a lot of hiding, and so they kind of put themselves in the shadows, hoping that their brand would outshine them. And that might get you so far, but it gets to the core. So what I have found that when you're truly honest, when I began to step out and say, oh yeah, you know what? Everything looked really great on the outside of like my marriage and my job, but I was going through hell on the inside. And that I believe that our testimonies are really the answer keys to the test of life that people actually go through. And so for me, it was like until I could actually face it and step through what I call the trauma of the moments and the experience, then my brand, because you are your brand is you, whether your name or your pictures on the front of it or not, because all the passion, all the leadership, all the essence of you goes into that. And especially if you're going to build a team. So whether you're a solopreneur or not, and this is the one thing that as those of you who are building, and as I look at me, I'm like, I'm building global enterprises, not ghetto hustles. And so when we think about that, and here's what I was sharing with a couple of clients, is that every enterprise began with an entrepreneur. Every enterprise, Amazon began with an entrepreneur named Jeff Bezos in a garage. And now this is a mega global $1 billion enterprise. And so if you are selling yourself short because you truly haven't connected to the essence of who you are and what you can become and your gifts, then again, you will stay in a box as opposed to living outside of that. Be able to do
And
outside of that.
you're offering really good church nuggets I mean,
Yeah,
it is
I'm gonna
Sunday.
move.
It is Sunday. You're offering a lot of golden church nuggets on a Sunday, on a Easter Sunday. I mean, this is really good information because the truth is, like you said, you build the brand to outshine you personally, and a lot of times you don't want to share your personal. You guys, here's the thing: you have to be honest about what it is. If it comes all out and it peaks out for your business, I don't want to talk about things, but guess what? When the time is right, I will.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay with that. Not everyone can go to Harvard. Not everyone's going to Stanford. Not everyone has the perfect family upbringing. And those make you the entrepreneur that you are. Those seeds along your trail, those along your path, build to why you are an entrepreneur, why you want to start up. And sometimes those stories inspire even the trash that you had in your past. So I really love to bring this up. And I think when we sit quietly during this pandemic, we've all had to do a little bit of soul searching in that. But I think just what is J. Cole say? There's beauty in the struggle. It's true.
Right, right,
There is beauty in the
right.
struggle,
There's
right?
beauty in the brokenness. And so, one of the first pieces that I wrote for a collective anthology in 2016 called Extraordinary Lives, the title of my work was called Kintsugi, The Art of Being Beautifully Broken. And those of you that might be familiar with the Japanese art form, understanding that it's also a concept in the philosophy of life, is that the things that may have broken us, but we're still here and we begin to put the pieces back together. We don't throw ourselves away. We don't throw all our life and experiences away. And it's that the binding and the nuances and the richness that comes from our new understanding, which makes us more beautiful. And here's one thing that I share, and I share this from a personal space, but also from an entrepreneurial level, is that I cannot love who I am today if I lament everything that made me. And so
Wow.
as you're going through your business, people want to say, oh, I've arrived, I'm here. But it's really their growth. It's really the journey. It's really the time that they had to do and pull that 22-hour shift to get their product out, or that they were sitting there having to move A to B, move from your checking to your savings and then borrow from somebody else's checking and savings. And
Well,
all of that, right? Get, all of that
oh
gets
my
you
God.
to, right? You know that's true. All of that
I
gets
know
you
all the struggles about transfers.
right? And so you're doing that, and that makes it rich when you begin to tell your story. And so when people are buying products or patronizing a business, what they're really saying is that it's you that I'm investing in. And that's why branding is so important, why people spend millions and billions, and organizations spend billions of dollars on marketing and branding, because it's key. What story is your life telling? What story is your business telling? And so you can't just talk about all the shine without even addressing some of the shit. And so you have to kind of make both of those and merge those and understand that that's what makes you beautiful. That's what
Yes.
makes you beautiful
And relatable. Because guess
and
what?
relatable.
That honesty, people are looking to connect with it and go, okay, she really did have it rough. I think I'll be okay. Right? Or isn't that why we
Yes.
watch? Isn't that why we watch reality TV, a genre that I helped build?
Yes.
I helped build reality TV 21 years ago. And I know people relate to that. They're like, oh my God, my life isn't as bad as that.
That
I'm gonna
part.
watch.
And even though some of it might be a little bit scripted, but so are our lives too. And so I speak a lot and I write a lot, and the research I'm doing now is all about the imposter phenomenon and how it impacts particularly Black women and other women of color. And how does that show up? How does it actually impact us in a business realm, corporate space, across the board? How does it impact all of us in those things and during those seasons? And that these are some of the things that we're not talking about because we're continuing to move on and keep pushing forward and not addressing those areas of ourselves that we do need to work on. So of course that we might feel like an imposter. Why? Because you are walking around as a bastardized version of yourself, you know, because you
Well,
feel like you
now
can't
you're
be
taking
you.
us to church. Well, now you're taking us to
Oh,
church. So
it's
since you're
Sunday a
taking us
little bit.
there, well, since
I don't
you're
mean
taking
to
us
take
there,
y'all to church. Look, I
that's
don't
all
mean to take
right.
y'all. I don't mean to take you to church, but I'm saying this because when we get to the core of entrepreneurship, it is challenging. It is difficult. You have to understand that there's going to be some times you're going to question yourself. You're going to wonder, should you be in it? Should you be doing it? Do you need to keep pushing forward? And you're going to go through all that. You're going to feel that, and that is okay. And I tell my clients, you can have it all, but you got to define the all. But if you're
Right.
trying to define your all based on somebody else because you don't really know who you are, then of course you're going to feel like that you're not enough, and that you're not going. So you're going to deal with that. And so I think that when we talk about entrepreneurship and getting started, is that here's a core fundamental understanding: every leap begins with a step. Every leap begins with one step. And so depending on what step you're on, own it.
And you make a great point about the imposter, and I could go in so many different levels with this, with imposter, from replicating someone else's game plan to wearing wigs in corporate meetings to not being natural and authentic. I mean, we could go so many different places with this, and I want to have you come back so we can talk about natural hairstyles in the corporate work.
Oh, okay, because I'm rocking my
imposter.
locks. I'm rocking my locks. And I was
your
told, I got locks and tattoos, and they were like, "You have a PhD." I said, "And?" And I was a school principal, and I can't. This is who I am. But yet there was a course, and you'll see some old pictures of me by the next time we come back, where my hair, I kept it really short, cropped. It had a very corporate professional look. I had very clean lines because I realized and none of my tattoos were short. I mean, I was always buttoned up tight. It was all of those little fun spaces, because you're 100% right. But guess what? That rolls over to your entrepreneurial journey as well. Because how you do anything is how you'll do everything.
Beautiful. You guys, don't be an entrepreneur. Don't be an imposter to your business. Be real. Be transparent. Rip those layers off the onion. There's so many things, and I'm gonna have you come back and have more time, because this is the holiday session. We got 8 more minutes. I want you to plug real quick. I'm gonna do a hot topic. I'm gonna test a hot topic for you.
Okay.
I've never done this on my show, and I'm putting Dr. Dina on the spot, but I feel like she can totally handle anything.
All right, bring it on. Bring it on.
Okay, good. Before we do that, Dr. Tina, will you give everybody your hashtags, your handles, your website, your phone number? Where can they find you if they want you to come in and hire you?
Yes, on all social media platforms, you can find me at Dr. Dina Speaks, DrDeena Speaks, on Instagram. And if you go in that Instagram bio and click the Shorby link, you can hit my current programs and product, and the fact that I have launched the $1 Million Dollar Project and the Confidence Bundle and the Self-Acceptance Bundle is there. And the beauty of the $1 Million Dollar Project is that these bundles are all $5. I am making personal growth and professional development affordable. And so you can find these amazing $5 bundles. And this is the first ever professional growth and personal growth dollar store ever.
Yes.
And so it's all digital downloads. So you can definitely grab this hold of me there. Also within that particular link, you can go to book a conversation, with me. Not necessarily to pick my brain, but you can book some time to do that. And my website is the Lead Her Shift Movement, www.leadhershift.com, all one word. And so you can definitely go on there and learn a little bit more about the leadership movement, and check out my League of Extraordinary Women. I love those avatars. They represent the breadth and depth of us as women. So again, you can find me at Dr. Dina Speaks on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And you can go tap in and find out more about the Lead Her Shift movement at www.leadhershift.com.
Guys, listen, I love you. Like you're so fucking badass. And I'm sorry to curse, but I'm a .com show, so I can curse. You're amazing. You guys, we have some cool announcements coming up here in the next few days that I've done with Dr. Tina and a few others. And also, we've got coming up in Austin. Okay? So there's a lot of cool announcements we're going to make. I'm working on another one that is super huge. And we're going to tag you, and you guys book the conversation. This first 3 out. Call it a think tree, right?
Yes.
Okay. I have a hot topic for you.
All right.
So Little Nas X has been in the news.
Yes.
And he's in the news for his state video, Pole Dancing to Hell. which I have seen multiple times, and I've liked the video because the music and the cinematography from an aesthetic point of view has been amazing. Did you hear about the Nike? And did you hear about the drop of blood in the Nike? And now the first product ever to get a restraining order from minors. So from a business point of view, I want to talk to you about this. What do you think about the headline and what's going on?
Well, I think that sometimes there's a juxtaposition between faith and foolishness, and that and I say that because we're often, in pushing the boundaries of our brand and our vision. um I think that we have to get to the core of the why are we doing this? Is it a marketing ploy? Is it attention grabber? Because we know that, they say, all media is good media, whether it's good or bad, because the sales will go up. I mean, as soon as make something contraband, then next thing you know, sales are going through the roof, with doing that. So again, I don't know and I don't profess to know, but when I think about what's happening and even some of the things that he is sharing, and by no way, shape, or form do I know him intimately, personally, or profess to know his whole story. But what I can see intuitively is that he's still healing some of the hurts. He is still working through his own identity issues of being black, being and then he talks about I don't know if he said he non-binary or being gay or being you know what I mean, like it's all of these different things as he's working through. And so he's just testing his limits. And it's almost like I think about when a 2-year-old is kind of going to keep pushing and seeing how far I can get. And
Oh,
but
maybe.
every
Yeah.
or maybe, or like I said, or maybe not. I don't know, because part of it is that the whole concept of a restraining order over a product that doesn't necessarily harm somebody, it might be a little bit excessive, because again, we look at some of the other things that are out there with intention to harm or have larger capabilities to do harm, and yet that's not an issue. So like again, I have not, in all honesty, dug really deep into
Sure.
that. I
And
saw
it
some of the
just came
pieces of it.
out.
I saw some
Yeah.
of the pieces of it, but I don't watch a lot of news, number one, because I like to maintain my peace. I pick out certain things, I do, and I'm really
Yes,
protective about my energy. And so, in doing that, I watch just enough to find out just enough. But
right.
I kind of tune out a lot of other things. If it doesn't serve me, I let that shit go. And so
Let it go.
I let it go. So and he's not my avatar, he's not my target audience, nor are the individuals that he serves. So therefore,
Right.
guess what? From a business perspective, I also don't tap into that space, because again, the energy that I have is to promote the work and the enterprise that I'm building.
Beautiful answer. Spoken like a true media expert. I brought it up from a startup point of view because I was really intrigued watching this kind of go over the last 4 or 5 days. And as a business brand, Nike putting a restraining order against the shoe product is kind of fucking genius. Here's why I think it's genius. I think it's genius because Nike's not coming for Little Nas. They know Little Nas is hot as F right now. They know that their core demographic is the Black American male. They know that they do not want to alienate that demographic. They also know that Little Nas is getting new followers that went from country gay and black and fabulous, now the devil, gay and fabulous. So there's a whole new situation happening. So I think it was smart for them to put the restraining order against the shoes, say we do not support worshiping, do not alienate their religion or more conservative customers, but not to alienate the artist. So I think
But
it's very smart.
also, here's the thing: when they did it against the shoe, we now have one of the hottest collectors items ever. And so
Amen.
so I'm telling
I
you, like
went up. It just went up.
I'm just telling you, it's a big, 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 big.
It's
you
big.
know,
Whoever bought the shoe, it was sold out within a few minutes at midnight, the day they launched it. I think they sold it for $666, 66. And on an ending note, you and I are faith-based. I grew up in the church, whether people believe that or not. I got tattoos everywhere, and I cursed like a sailor, but I did grow up in the church, and I understand why he did it. Let me just say this, a lot of people in the church think that gay people are going to hell and that they're of the devil. And so from his point of view, from his mouth, from the interview I had, Lil Nas, come on my show and correct me because I want to represent right, brother. I love it. He's saying, you think I'm from hell? I'm gay and I'm going there? I'm going to show you how I took the power back. Just like Madonna did like prayer when everybody lost shit on that. Just like Bone Thugs did. Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Kanye.
Kanye. Everybody lit it up. He's pole dance to hell and everyone's losing their brain. So I think it's artistic. I think it's edgy. We're going to be talking about for a while. Congratulations, you bought that. It has a little bit of blood in it, and you probably are going to make a lot of money. We don't support Satan worship, but I don't think he does either. So you guys are missing the point.
Right. I think it's art. It's a form of art because what's the difference between artists who use bones and blood in their art and you see it in museums and you sell it for millions of dollars? So that's why I said, like, you know.
It's a gay issue, right? That's really the point. But God bless. I love artists like this. Dr. Dina, thank you for weighing in. You guys follow Dr. Dina Brown. He's doing big things. You need to carve out some time for your business. He's available. Where can they find you one more time, Dr. Dina?
Yes, the best place to just find me and catch all my deets is to go to Instagram, Dr. Dina Speaks, DrDeena SPEAKS, and guess what? I'm getting my new TikTok life on too. But woo! I am so you can holler at me over on TikTok, give me some tips. But more importantly, definitely follow me on Instagram. That's where I show up the most at Dr. Dina Speaks, and Twitter as well. So I look forward to just tapping and connecting with you all and sharing some of the amazing things I have coming up.
Beautiful. We're going to do this again. We're going to tap in, and I'm going to ask you another hot topic because you really weighed in great. So thank you for your time on a Sunday and on Easter.
Yes.
All right, you guys. It's a short show today, and I always ask you, what will you start up today? Be well, be kind to one another, and I'll see you next from probably another location. Bye, guys.
You're listening to The Startup with Monique LeRae, only on LA Talk Radio.